Welcome back to another episode of Full Circle with me, Onyx. And let's continue. This this is pretty much level 1, your adeptship program, your initiation into Western mystery tradition. It's kind of informal. I'm not going to really ever teach anything beyond that because everything you will ever need is in the free material, is in the Adept program. If you want to go further with your Western mystery style education, you can uh, go find your mystery school. I, for me, at this point, that's really not my focus. But what I love about it, all this Western mystery style, occult, symbolism, ritual stuff, it gives you really nice building blocks to play with, to explore with. Uh, so I got a lot of positive use out of it. I didn't subscribe to any belief system. I didn't really subscribe to any tradition. Uh, and I kind of feel like that's kind of the way at this point on my journey. I when I was on my journey at different points, I heavily believed in the gods, and I still do, and I have my devotions, but that was then. That was in another life, basically. That was uh at that point on my journey, that's what I was learning. But at this point, what's on my journey is neutrality, being clear, being open to possibilities. Um, so magic is interesting. You have to believe in it in order to do it, but then you also have to be able to throw it away. So you create and you destroy. You believe and you don't believe. You have to be able to work both sides of the coin, the paradox, the conundrum, the what do you call it? The contradiction, the controversial. You got to be able to work the yin and the yang. Uh, you know, the playful side and the serious side. Life and death, male and female. You alternate between these two poles, but you do it through the neutrality, through the center pole. You do it through just being. You do it uh, through allowance, surrender, being open minded, um, gives you the ability to expand, be open, live in a realm of possibility. There's room to explore, and it's not a fight for your identity. It's not a fight to maintain your construct. There's no agenda of being a hero, a trailblazer. Like, you leave all that out in the neutral zone. If you want to do all that stuff, that's cool, but you're adding conditions. So having no conditions is kind of like a sphere, equal all around. But it's also kind of like everything is allowed. The opposition is allowed. Through the allowance, yin turns to yang through allowance. Accept whatever challenges you have. Like, life is full of challenges and things that we don't want to go our way, whether it's our body, whether it's other people, whether it's what the state of the world. Through the allowance, it then flips and gives you leverage to then do like a judo move, like an aikido move, and turn things into your favor. And so the first step is allowance, the first and the last, letting go. So a lot of people say in sigil magic, when you've drawn your sigil, the last step is to let go and forget about it. And that principle is allowance. So, in order for the arrow to fly through the air, you have to let go and let the bow and let the arrow do their job. So, literally, the it's being receptive, but it's learning to be neutral. So you can play with opposites without getting burned. So you can maintain your personal integrity. So in the tree of life, that middle pillar is the balance. It's also neutral, and it's also transcendent. It's so much more. Without that middle pillar, the other two pillars have no stability. The tension isn't working right, and it's all unstable, and the whole thing is wobbling. But through the center of neutrality, beliefs can come and go, feelings can come and go, and you can actually choose which feeling, which belief that serves you in that moment, in that time period, you know? So you might have a good example is when I worked at my last job, there were a lot of low vibration negative people. So I chose to put on a serious face, uh, an abrasive attitude. That wasn't my nature, but I did that uh, to keep them away from me, to preserve my connection with spirit. Was that the best solution? No, but it's what I did. And then when I left that job, I took it off. That's not me. That's not what I want to be 24 hours. But, you know, I know that. They don't know that. And it worked. So you can switch masks, play different characters to get the results that you want. This is all very practical magic. So, when you think about magic, the first thing you do is you cast a circle, right? That circle represents whatever is within that circle is what is possible. So if you want to summon an angel, the possibility of an angel manifesting must be on the inside of that circle. Everything outside of it, the square, the construct, so literal these shapes are, isn't really supporting the idea of an angel manifesting in your circle. So you might want to push out, sweep to the four corners of your space, to the square, to those edges, everything that doesn't support that. So the whole mythology of angels handed down through time that we got by religions and theologians, I don't know what you call them, all these narratives, that might alter your experience you're going to have with an angel. Other people's encounters might alter your expectations and flavor that might contaminate your circle. So your circle is literally like a laboratory. It doesn't, and obviously you want it neutral, and then you want to add the possibility. So we're just going to play with creating a circle. Like a lot of people just cast a circle. Okay, good. I feel it. Done. I did that for all intents and purposes. But we never really spent enough time playing in the sphere, playing in the circle. So let's do that. Obviously we're doing these other meditations with square, circle, pyramid, or sphere, pyramid. Let's use our skills. So my room is literally like a square. There's my bed, there's a closet that was actually built into it. So I'm basically in a square. So it's really easy to start off with a square. So I can just breathe, use my own arms. And I start just pushing the outside world out to the walls. I can push it out to the walls and say, you all out there. There you go. There's some magical words handed down. All that, you go out. All that out there, out there, out there. I can imagine I'm sweeping dirt to the four corners of my room. I can just push it all out, let it dissolve. Nobody needs that. Who cares? I'm creating a free, creative space. To know if it worked, feel. Actually, that feels a little better. Do you need to burn a little sage? Go right ahead. Let's play with more ways to push out limiting beliefs, limiting energies from the center of your being as a soft light. With your hand gestures, comb out, brush out limitation, structure, already known. In magic, you actually use your body for the integrative effect. You weave the planes together. The gestures can be small and not draw attention to yourself, or they can be grand if you feel like it. But the intention, quality of breath, mind, body, spirit connection, the integration within you is reflected in the strength of your command, the strength of your will, the strength of your intention has a lot to do with your own quality of breath, intention, and gesture. There you go. It harmed none. I was just creating a nice neutral space for me to have permission so we spoke a language of body language, of intention, of breath, of visualization. We wove it all together. Your own body will react to the new space you created. You should feel more relaxed, more open, more poised, more at ease. The quality of your focus now should be easier, clearer. You can come up with, clear is a great word. Just clear. Breathe in clarity. Project clarity. Breathe out clarity. I'm in a space. You can literally say, I am now in a space that is clear, that is clean. Clear and clean. That could be your mantra. We just mastered mantras. Just put a turban on your head now. Give yourself a star. Now, I say this playfully, but we really should respect all people's traditions and cultures. But the playful side is to give yourself a little flexibility, a little more permission, because you're going to need a lot of permission to actually do some serious magic. You're going to have to free your mind, free your heart if you want to do some love magic. Free up your energy, free up your posture for healing. Get the energy circulating. Okay. All time and space is here now. And that can be represented as a dot or a sphere at the center of your circle. Let time and space dissolve. I really like the idea of the quantum field. Be present in the space that you've created for yourself. At the center of my sphere, my circle, my magic circle, that is a sphere, is that shining point at the very center. Its light comes from all that is, the quantum field, where time and space collapse. The sphere, the structure of it, the support of it is supported from this center, where this quantum energy fills my space. You could consider it a blessing if you wanted, but the difference with wizards, magicians, those who are working with powers, and then the devotees, the spiritual mystics, is the wizard assumes the power of creation themselves. They take it. They took Prometheus's fire. They didn't ask for it. They didn't beg for it. They didn't welcome it in with open hearts, love, and devotion. They're not devotees. Wizards are like, oh, I want that. I'm taking it now. I'm using it for my purpose. That's a huge difference. It's like, now if you want to add all that other stuff in, you can, but no, just know that's not required. So I'm actually gonna want to be with my angel because I love my angel so much. So you might have, your personality might actually be more devotional and spiritual. I know a part of mine is, so I'm gonna now add that extra layer. It's not gonna make it more powerful as someone else's, but it's gonna be part of the experience I wish to experience in this space, this artist space, the creative space. As above, so below, as within, without. So we are creating it within, but we're also experiencing it without. And what we experience out, we also experience in. So there's that wholeness, that integration that I'm talking about. So my intuition, my higher mind was thinking, a beautiful sunset. So my sphere that I'm in, this alternate dimension, has a beautiful sunset, and it has rose petals just gently falling through the sky, because I love sky so much. So in my sphere, it's actually clear, and it's what I'm seeing outside this crystal clear sphere. I'm like floating in this beautiful orange sky. If I speak, if I describe, it really turns on my psychic sight. So one rule is see it before you say it, but sometimes for me it's say it, then you'll see it. So there's that Mobius strip again. There's that, what came first, chicken or the egg? The Ouroboros. So when your imagination kind of hijacks your agenda, that is your higher mind now invited into your sandbox to play. That's that creative genius. That's that greater awesome. So let it in. Don't control it and say, oh, I really wanted it to be this way. I wanted it to be gothic. What is all these lovely bright colors? Follow it. You'll get more success. Go with the flow. There we go. So, whew. there is some serious clairaudience going on. I'm talking to myself. So they're telling me, Onyx Moon, you are now ready to channel. And I'm like, oh, that's my own missing piece. Create a more welcoming space, create a more playful space, a space of permission was really all I needed to really master casting a circle or setting space for myself to have the experiences that I wanted. Now, I took you on this journey with me because that's what I'm going to do because it's so much fun. And then let's just freaking channel. I mean, I see this beautiful kind of like teal green energy just right at my heart space. It came into my space because obviously I was setting this. I needed to create a conducive space to welcome the presence of angel, an angelic being. What is an angel but a divine messenger? What is the divine? Something greater than myself that is of a benefit. So you can translate all these like mystic words into words that are appropriate for you and the way that you wish to receive things. Welcome to channeling, you know? So they're saying, we wish you all the ability to give yourself the grace, the blessings to bless yourself in ways such as this practice, creating a space for you to dwell. To dwell in a place, hopefully you will be thriving. So much of it is just frequency that comes in for me. The words aren't so important. So there's an automatic that happens when you're casting your spell, you're doing your magic, you're aligning with, I'm just going to call it the greater mind, that higher, that greater you. That when you create a space, you create an allowance for it to come and be in your life. You basically created an invitation. You created a beacon of light, of energy that signals to the greater source, the divine you, that higher consciousness, the greater mind. That's the word I was looking for, the greater mind, to be with you and participate. When you feel that energy flow, the presence and come in. Now, I didn't have to do an invocation. I didn't have to know its name of this greater force that's working with me deep. I didn't limit it, but I constructed the space in accordance with my will, the art of magic. The building materials I used was astral plane through visualization and intention. Those were mental building blocks. So the way it comes in is at that level. When you create a sacred space, you automatically bless yourself. And I'm just going to leave that channeling. It's like, honestly, what are we even doing? So coming back from an altered experience, I'm not going to call them altered states of consciousness because I'm finding that's very misleading. You think you have to go into a trance. You think it has to do with subconscious. Like we've labeled things. And magic isn't exactly like that. Looking from the outside, someone might have went, whoa, Onyx just went into a deep trance. Or maybe we hooked him up and our brain scans are doing things. Uh, that's their experience. Okay. It's not exactly so. So, one reason why I broke that channeling is because as that energy and light came into me, it also revealed I could see into my body and I could start to clairvoyantly see like all this toxicity that's like in areas like in my stomach area, like in my astral body. I could see like all this darkness, like all these clouds. What does that mean? So, the light shined some awareness and that kind of took my breath away. I was like, oh my gosh, there's some energetic cleansing that seriously has to go on. And, and the voice is still talking to me. They're like, Onyx, you got to learn how to protect yourself. That's where that came from. So you don't need to beat yourself up over it. It's just the importance of creating. So the way that we created that sphere is the same way you create a healthy aura to protect yourself. So, okay, we learned that. So now I'm animating it. But the reality is the information came in through a few snap images and some understanding and energy vibration. The words, the dialogue, that's my physical brain uh, animating it for you to understand. Otherwise, I'd just be sitting here. There would be, I wouldn't be saying anything. It's all just happening and I'm just going to witness it. So, and that could be a freeing thing for you because I feel like that. It's like, okay, all this psychic information is in, all this is going on, dialogue. Like when the door is open, but it's happening so fast, my mouth can't catch up with it. How do I describe things moving this fast? All this information. It's not irrelevant information, it's all perfectly aligned information. There's just no way for me to get it out on time. I'm going to call it the salmon run. That's what it's like when the channeling door opens for me audiently. It's like a salmon run. It's like going into a room and there's all these TVs on, like in the Matrix, except they're playing different channels. It's like there's just a lot coming in all at once. So we're going to call this good. But one key pointer, you want to be able to feel energy flowing through your hands or flowing through you. And what really activates energy for me is I imagine like a cube in my hands and it's turning. Just clockwise, counterclockwise, it doesn't matter. And then I can kind of get a sense of intention and the turn or the spiraling, the turning of energy in the center palms of my hand. So it just works for me. It just opens things up. So I'm aligned. I've created a nice space for myself through intention, words, intention, visualization, all this stuff. And I've cross communicated or cross connected with those different parts of my consciousness, and they know what he's doing. They're like, oh, we know what Onyx is doing. Anytime he visualizes, anytime he speaks these type of words, it just means go, baby, go. Time for energy to flow. And so when my energy is flowing, that's when I start to draw the shapes. So I'm giving you another key. But we had to, we're going step by step kind of. So then when I think about my wall and pushing out negative energy, it's like a tornado of energy moving out my hands, spinning out my hands. When I have my hands, I feel energy at the center palm of my hand, and it spirals and it spins like a vortex. So they're vortexes. When these hand vortexes are open, then my gestures have power behind it. It's not just a hand flopping around mindlessly, and I've slowed down. The energy also kind of happens automatically, as I've invited the presence in, you know, the greater mind. So that's how I understand it. I'm just feeling this good energy in the room, channeling. So I love it. Sometimes there's nothing to say. The higher powers, the greater mind, whatever it is, it just says be in the light, be in the presence, be reunited, welcome back into your glory. Uh, yeah, that's like kicking on my crown. So just to be invited back into a greater universe, you know, through the permission of no boundaries. Obviously, we created a boundary, and within that boundary, there are no boundaries. The paradox. Hmm. So we're just kind of, I hope you get to feel that energy as a gift to you to elevate you. Uh, because yeah, I'm just talking nonsense because I'm just feeling the good energy that's flowing through me and creating. Like when you experience other people's energy, it gives you the pattern, and it's your choice to accept that pattern or frequency to elevate you on your path. Whether you feel it or not, that pattern is there available. They're just patterns and frequencies that